Hey there, Knicks fans. It's playoff time, and that means we're gearing up with the freshest hats and swag from Fanatics. We're buying our merch, like this hat I'm wearing right now, with Fan Cash, since we bet with Fanatics Sportsbook, where you earn Fan Cash on your bets. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app and start earning Fan Cash today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut residents, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents, call 800-327-5050. New York residents, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. All right. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. I am here with Benjy Ritholtz. I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts on what we just witnessed in a moment. I just want to start out by commending the Boston Celtics. That was a championship team showing you why they were a championship team less than 12 months ago, losing their best player, their most important player, and their two best remaining players, I would argue, came through with, for Jaylen Brown, as good a game as I have ever seen him play against the Knicks, 12 assists. He was everything his team needed him to be tonight, filling in for Tatum in ways that we don't always think he's capable of filling in for Tatum. And then Derek White just absolutely a shot-making extravaganza on top of everything else he does. Drew Holiday, Al Horford, big games for them as well. And really, it was more than just them being down Jason Tatum. They were down two of their top six because Kristaps Porzingis played 12 minutes and was a minus 12 in that time. So absolutely outstanding stuff from Boston. I want to get that out of the way. Nobody wants to hear about the Boston Celtics. As far as the New York Knicks go, I guess the only thing I have to say is shame on us. Because I know I went into tonight thinking that, hey, this team looked pretty damn good in game 4. This team saved their best for last. This team played the best game that they've played all season in game 4. It looked like they had finally put the nonsense period of their season behind them, and they tricked me thinking that what had come in the 91 games before was behind them, and it was going to be hey, we may not win every game from here on in, but you know what, we're going to go out and we're going to play with our heads, and they always play with their hearts, but with our heads as well, and not leave our fans necessarily with things to be pulling their hair out over. And look, it's a 20 whatever point loss. So I don't know how much, and the Celtics shot the lights out of the ball. I don't know how much any of the stuff that we're going to talk about and any of the stuff that is hair pull inducing would have maybe made a difference tonight. But boy, is it frustrating to watch this team and this coach make the same mistakes that we've been seeing them make all year, especially when they had an opportunity like they did tonight. And that is how I want to start it off, but I will turn it over to you, Benjy.
Yeah, I want to tread carefully because there's a combination here of a desperate team, a very proud team, and a very talented team at home in a 3-1 series. This is not an uncommon result. Yes. If you just kind of have a handle on playoff basketball and the flow of series we've been watching for a long time, this is not an uncommon result. The caveat is that Jason Tatum didn't play. The caveat to that caveat is that the Celtics found a pace and a drive, and I mean that with pun intended, and a ball movement that you can bait Tatum out of. You can make him play slow, you can make him play isolation, and you can make him settle. And that's when the Knicks defense popped, is when they forced Tatum into those scenarios. And Boston came out with a concerted effort, so a very obvious one. We are going to play with pace. We are going to drive the basketball on mismatches especially. We're not going to settle with step backs over mismatches. We are going to drive mismatches, and that leads to rotations and ball movement and catch and shoot threes. The Knicks defense was not ready for that version of the Boston Celtics. And the Boston Celtics have not played that way to this point in the series. They're not better without Jason Tatum. That's a silly thing to say, but they are different and they present a different challenge. And it is a challenge. That is a talented team who, when they shoot well, can blow you out of the building, as they did in the second half. And the defense, you felt Tatum missing in the first half, I thought. Knicks got to some of their spots easily. I thought some of it was just Kristaps Porzingis being a non-factor. They go to Kornet. He's eating up a lot of space down there. Second half offense was terrible from the Knicks. Part of that goes to the Celtics defense. And so, yeah, this is now a new series. The result is not altogether unexpected, but you are facing new challenges now in this new version of the series that the Knicks are going to have to hit the drawing board here, get themselves together, stop with defensive miscommunications, understand that there's now pace in the Celtics offense that you need to match defensively with your decision-making and come out with a better effort in Game 6.
I want to throw it right back to you because that was really good. What for you was the biggest issue for the Knicks tonight in terms of the thing that you thought maybe was a self-inflicted wound? I think a lot of what you just said was like affirmative good stuff from the Celtics, stuff putting the pressure on the Knicks. Did you see stuff tonight that the Knicks have not nobody but themselves to blame, because obviously the Celtics have a lot to do with that, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think even if the Celtics pace and ball movement and driving force this upon the Knicks, it doesn't excuse the Knicks' failure collectively to match up, communicate, nail the switches when they were there. Don't switch when there's a ghost screen. Like, they messed up dozens of those plays tonight. And they are going to need to correct that, especially Cat and Brunson, who were a mess. And when it was Cat and Brunson in action together, it was almost an automatic open shot. So they need to sort that out. I think they got used to the rhythm of, again, Tatum gets the mismatch, he dribbles out, and now it's a one-on-one. And that's not how the Celtics are going to play now. Yeah. And it's going to be into the next action, and it's going to be a drive, and then you got to rotate your rotations. So that's, in terms of I thought the biggest issue was just kind of defensive connectivity, communication on a faster pace that they were dealing with from the Celtics side. And then I'm going to go to the bench. And by the bench, I mean the person manning the bench, the person coaching the team. You cannot let that third quarter happen.
Nope.
That was absurd. I mean, look, we've talked about this all year. The starting lineup is not that good. It hasn't been
together.
That good.
They're not that good together.
It's just not. It hasn't been your best lineup for many, many months. The whole season, it's not your best lineup. So to double down and triple down and stomp your foot and say, even though I've seen this third quarter 100 times this season, because we have, when they just don't come out with enough energy, the spacing is clogged because they're playing far off Josh Hart. Even when Josh Hart makes threes, credit to him for making a lot of threes. That's going to help. That's important. I don't want to dismiss the threes. They're important. But they're obviously clogging everything up. I believe the Knicks shot. Hold on.
What are you looking for? I have it right here.
From 2-point range, 17 for 51.
Yep, that's correct.
There was nowhere to go.
33% hit rate.
And that is atrocious. They actually shot the three ball well tonight. They just couldn't make a two in the second half, especially. And you just have to see that coming if you're Tibbs. And after especially with the added nuance that Mitchell Robinson, the closer you get to the bonus, is going to get fouled. Now, he made his free throws tonight. Also, don't want to dismiss that. That's important. But get Mitch in the game early. You know he's the spark. You know he's been your most consistent player this series. What are you waiting for? What are you watching that convinces you that lineup's going to turn things around? That was bonkers to me. You feel the game slipping away. How many 20-point deficits can you make up in one series? So try to stem the tide. And to me, talk about things in your control, man, sometimes you have to, as a coach, be a little more proactive in trying to change the momentum. I did not think Tibbs did that in the third quarter.
So I don't know that there is a harsher criticism that I can make than this, which is that watching that third quarter unfold and watching there be no substitutions until hang on, got it right here. Sorry, I have to scroll down for a bit. You may have to give me a few minutes here.
It's on page 3.
Yeah, there you go. I had to reload the page a few times because every time you get further, it has to. No, until it was 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game in the third quarter, and by that point, it was 87 to 74. Now, in fairness, we can acknowledge that after the subs came in, they did not exactly stem the tide. Like things kept going poorly. That said, what I was going to say before, and I lost track. It reminded me of the 2021-22 season, the Kemba season, for those who may not be accurate with their dates, where we would watch.
Did not think we were going to getting a Kemba reference in this postgame.
Well, you just got it because that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of games where we would be sitting there and we'd be looking at it, and we'd all be seeing the same thing. Perhaps the defining quote of that season was when Stan Van Gundy was commenting on a game and said, "This is the definition of insanity," and we're not at that level because, again, we're 48 hours removed from this same starting five putting together the best third quarter performance of the entire season. But my point that I made during the playback, we have a feel for when it's not going well, and we know from watching this team this year when it's not going well, when it's going down that slippery slope, that those five do not tend to, at the start of games, sometimes they do, where it's like, okay, they're a little slow out of the gate over the first couple of minutes, and then they'll turn it on, and then they'll start playing better. Doesn't happen in the third quarter, where they all of a sudden something shifts, and then they figure it out. You could sense it was going that way. Again, if he brings in, and the moment, here's the other thing that I want to say. So Towns picked up his fourth foul with 8:40 to go. It was right after Josh Hart went 1 or 2 from the line. The Knicks at that point, once he picked up the foul, Brown made 2 free throws. They were down by 4. That to me, and you were on playback when it happened, and I was with you. I was like, he's not really helping you right now. The offense is not helping you. Defensively, obviously, he's not helping you. Take him out of the game, and let's see if you can and maybe catch something here. Bring in a Mitch now, and the other thing I would have done at that point also is bringing Deuce in for Hart, because, and then I guess that gets into the Luke Cornett of it all. I'm going on Honda Sports Night in a little bit, and I already got the questions that we're going to talk about. One of them is, how was Luke Cornett able to have such a crazy impact? Luke Cornett played the game of his life, but I thought Josh Hart being out there on the floor was a massive aid in Luke Cornett playing the game of his life.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the strategy. And he had open threes to take. He made a bunch of them, but on every other possession that he's not making it or they're not passing it to Josh, he's just out there roaming and ready to block shots. And he did a great job of it. And he was incredible. It wasn't just the first effort. It was the second effort or the third effort. Credit to him. He was great.
Awesome.
I will say that the Knicks just collectively need to finish with more oomph.
Yes.
You have to know, okay, this is a strategy. They have a roamer waiting for you. You can't throw up little soft jump hooks. You just can't. Cat's got to try to dunk the basketball. He got blocked twice with Drew Holiday on him, trying to throw up jump hooks. Dude, you're next to the basket. You got to try to dunk the basketball. I've been saying this about Mikal Bridges for months. He didn't. Yeah. I don't think he got blocked. OG could not finish at the rim tonight. Less because of, I thought he tried to get up there and dunk. Sometimes he has these games, OG, offensively. It's hard to explain. He's just an inconsistent offensive player. And sometimes this is how it just goes. I don't know how much I want to analyze about OG's offense. It was really bad, horrendous tonight. But just generally, they have to try to finish with a real aggression because, he's roaming and he's ready.
Some stats. I have like 4 or 5. This is all for pivot fade. Knicks in the restricted area. First of all, they only took 9 restricted area shots. Celtics took 21. Knicks 5 of 9 in the restricted area. So the Knicks took 9 restricted area shots tonight. The Celtics took 21 restricted area shots tonight. They both missed the same amount of shots. Celtics were 17 for 21. Knicks were 5 of 9. In the paint, non-restricted area, Knicks were 8 of 21. And then Knicks got 1 dunk tonight, apparently. 1 of 3 on hook shots, 3 of 13 on floaters. And then this is really special, 8 of 17 on layups. It's not really what you want, Benji. And like, we could sit with like OG, as you said, was terrible. Mikal Bridges, I agree with you. Like I thought had some even for him, quasi obvious opportunities to press the issue at the rim and like attack and challenge Boston's bigs in the first half. And he instead defaulted into mid-rangers, and they just stopped going down, and he ended up going 4 or 14 from the field. And then, so Cat's final number, Cat's, you're going to look at his final numbers and be like, oh, it wasn't Cat's fault. 19 points on 5 of 11 shooting. It was not a strong Cat game at all.
It was not. First of all, 2 or 3 of those buckets came in essentially garbage time. So that's important to note.
Yeah, he was 3 and 9. He was 3 and 9. I remember looking at it. I was like, Cat's 3 and 9. That's not good.
Yeah. Look, it was not a good Cat game. It was an unintelligent, immature Cat game again in the first half. Some of the fouls are absolutely insane, and he just can't.
The second, I wrote it down. The second foul at the beginning of the second quarter,
he shoved Porzingis.
It was why?
And then the third one, he gets blocked on a terrible 3-point attempt and then grabs White. And it's just, it's just nonsense. And he is forever frustrating for that type of thing. And it is what it is because it seems to be unavoidable for him. But look, he didn't get touches. Obviously, they had Drew Holiday on him instead of Tatum. And they've shown that look before. And if you want to try to enter the ball to Cat in the post there, you have the roamer off of Hart. And so what are you getting out of it? You felt that cramp spacing, but again, a tremendous lack of prioritization of his touches by both coach and point guard.
It was glaring how
you have to run some stuff to get him some post touches, looks, even if you think the spacing's cramped. The third quarter was Brunson dribbling around for 20 seconds every single possession. You can't play that way. It was the worst process from Jalen Brunson I think we've seen since, what was the awful Detroit game? Game 1 or game 2? Game 2.
Wait, which game 2?
Game 2. It was the worst Jalen Brunson process, my least favorite Jalen Brunson performance since that game 2. Just because he dribbled the air out of the ball, especially in the third quarter. Wasn't looking at all for Cat, wasn't setting up stuff. The first half was better. The ball movement was better in the first half. It was actually pretty good in the first half. I just don't know why they come out in the third quarter and it gets so stagnant. The ball's got to move. We got to run sets. You got to try to find Cat on some touches down low. You got to try to find. They had Cat had a slip on an off-ball screen in the first half. I haven't seen that all season. I don't know where that stuff went in the third quarter, but it was abandoned. And the blame pie is equal, I think, to Cat, Brunson, coach. Everyone's got to prioritize him in the offense. They just forget about him for long stretches. It's a problem.
Yeah. It is. These openings of these playoff games, we've been going, for a while before we get to super chats. I got to be honest with you, Benji. We want to talk about some positives. You want to talk about Mitch and Deuce McBride, both of whom I thought played really good games.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah. Mitch played tonight 23 minutes, including I mixed it up. I was going to say an extended first half stint. He did play a long time in the first half, but it was Deuce who played the really extended first half stint. 29 minutes for Deuce. I am fairly certain this is the most minutes that he has played in the playoffs, maybe by a significant degree in this year. I know last year he had some crazy playoff games. Yeah, so this year, oh yeah, by far. The next most was he played 22 minutes in game 5 against Detroit. So 29 minutes tonight. Again, some of that was garbage time. Some of that was Brunson fouling out with 7 minutes to go. So maybe I shouldn't even pay too much attention to him playing 29 minutes, but they were both really good tonight.
Yeah. They gave you what I think you expect from them. Mitch had 6 offensive rebounds again. He was at a 20% offensive rebounding percentage. I think he might have gone up, which is nuts. He's rebounding a fifth of their misses.
Wild.
They were good. I've been saying this throughout the playoffs, and it might not happen in this series because they could come out and play a great game 6 and beat the Boston Celtics, which is a tremendously amazing accomplishment if they can pull it off.
Yeah.
But I've been saying throughout the playoffs, I just feel, and it might not be in this series, but it might be in the next if they get there. At some point, a team is going to force them, unless Tibbs refuses, is going to force them to play a 5-out lineup that they never, ever, ever go to. And to actually force a defense to make a decision as to who the center guards, a difficult decision. They never have to make that decision right now. And I don't know when it's going to be. I just have a feeling that they're going to need that lineup at some point, and they haven't shown it at all. And I felt that there were times in this game where it's like, man, especially third quarter, you want Mitch in there, so it's hard to find. I want Mitch in there also, so it's hard to find that lineup considering those two guys come off the bench. But something to think about in terms of if they ever find the minutes for the actual 5-out lineup to try to spring Cat in these scenarios.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like with obviously the 2 fourth quarters and with really the second half, especially of game 4 and some fourth quarters against Detroit. I mean, really, it's just a bunch of fourth quarters and then the game 4, like more than just the second half, like most of game 4. Their offense has just not looked great in these
first half tonight. I thought was good. I mean,
first half tonight was good. You're right.
It was good. The second half was brutal, but first half tonight was good. And I think they lost their verve a little bit on the offensive end. And that's also, they're taking the ball out of the net every time. They couldn't get any stops.
Yeah. Yes. And that's a big freaking deal. I don't know if we've mentioned it. I thought the transition defense early on was not great either. Losing
that's the pace. That's the pace. They weren't used to that pace, and the Celtics emphasized it, and they just couldn't get matched up, and that's a problem when they don't get matched up. Yep.
Yeah. So game 6 on Friday. I don't know if we need to have it's not a must win because if you lose, your season continues. It's a must win for Boston.
That is.
And Boston will certainly play like it is a must win. I like the notion that the Knicks are going to go home and everything's going to be fine because they're going home and Boston's not going to be in the Garden anymore. And I don't like. If there's something that I'm hanging my hat on tonight, and I thought I like how the first words out of your mouth tonight, I thought were extremely wise, which is this happens. Even with Tatum down, this happens. Losses happen. Sometimes losses can get out of control. It happens. So you don't want to overreact to one game. For as frustrating as this game was to watch, and it, my goodness, was it frustrating. This team has yet to lose consecutive games in this postseason. Number 1. And speaking for myself, game 2 against Detroit, game 5 against Detroit, and game 3 against Boston in the series, I have felt after each of those games, maybe not that the series was over, but it felt in the moment like this team was not capable of getting another win ever because of all of the things that they did wrong and all of the ways that they played poorly. And so I'm going to resist that temptation tonight, even though I think you raise a lot of good points about how the Celtics really found something tonight. And if there was one thing that you would have liked the Knicks to avoid tonight, is to give the Celtics, obviously any win was going to give the Celtics some confidence, but the Celtics know now that they have this formula, even without their best player, that they could go out there and it's going to, like you said, it's going to be on the Knicks to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, what are we going to affirmatively do to slow them down? Because this notion that Tatum's gone and the Knicks are just going to go and win this series, that's crazy. They are going to have to go out there and earn it.
That's right. Yeah. And the Boston found something. The Knicks now have to adjust to that something. And I think that's a fair. I think the team's earned our respect. And our confidence, at least to some extent. Like, they can rebound. They can play better. They will learn from this. And I think there's reason to believe that Jaylen Brown won't quite do that again. Now, there are things the Knicks have to do to slow him down better, but that was some performance, man. Credit to a Finals MVP who I think takes a lot of garbage and is kind of disrespected a little bit in the discourse for, I think the player that he is and can be. So showed you tonight what he was the best player on the floor by a long shot, and the second best player on the floor was Derek White. So
yes, and there was a gap after White.
What is Derek White's? What is in 2 games? He has now made how many threes out of how many threes?
Oh my goodness!
Presumably he's going to miss some at some point, right? I don't think it's worth a tremendous overreaction. It's a game 5 when you're up 3-1. The games go this way at times.
14 of 22 from 3. Derek White.
It's 14 of the last 22. That's good. That's good. So yeah, it's just to the drawing board. Now you see what it is. Now you understand what the Celtics look like without Tatum, what they're capable of, the way they want to play. Your turn to adjust, your turn to tighten it up. I think we should have confidence that they can certainly do better than they did tonight and can win this series and should win this series in 6. So we'll see.
Do you want is it worth mentioning the refs? Do you think where I'm watching 13 for 24 for White. When I am watching enough stuff that the Knicks are doing that frustrates me, even if the refs are complicit in that and nudging the negatives along, I personally have trouble getting too worked up about the refereeing. That said, did it prevent the Knicks from playing better defense in the third quarter? I guess because it was a favorable whistle to Boston. I don't know. Are you gonna be up thinking about the refereeing tonight? I doubt you are. No, I don't have much to say about the refereeing. I mean, I think the Knicks were often at a kind of a disadvantage. I think that the Boston was getting a step, and then the Knicks were reacting to that step, and that often results in a foul. Brunson had a couple on Brown specifically that they hadn't called, very similar ones in prior games, like when he posts up and kind of leans in and shoots over Brunson and Brunson kind of hits underneath. They've let that go in previous games, and Brunson's gotten stops, and they called it tonight. But look, Brunson's also tripping on guys' feet, and they're calling it pretty much every time. I don't know if those are fouls. That is very far behind the list of issues I had with the game, with the performance. Okay. I don't got anything else for you, Benji. It was just a frustrating night. Again, should we have expected them to win? I said shame on us for anybody who did expect them, but it's game 5. It happens. Yeah, it happens. I won't be with you for game 6. I know. I thought about that as soon as we started, and I'm such a wild thing. It'll be fun coming back online too. Listen, I think DJ's had better luck with you anyway. So let me say this: if they lose game 6 and go to game 7, I'm not allowing myself to think about if they don't win this series. Although I'm just not going to go there. Yeah. If they can take care of business at home in game 6, and again, I haven't seen this confirmed, but it does not seem like them losing this game will impact their rest, because as I was able to read it, it seemed like the Eastern Conference Finals would have started on Monday had they won tonight. All I know is before they lost tonight, there was like the Eastern Conference Finals might start on Monday or it might start on Wednesday, and they lost tonight, and now it's confirmed the Eastern Conference Finals will start on Wednesday.
I'll go ahead and confirm that. So if the Knicks had won tonight, game one of the conference finals would have been Monday. Now that they've extended it to Friday, it starts next Wednesday, no matter what, whether it's in Boston or in New York. It
still sucks. You still open up the possibility of injury. You open up the possibility of them fucking losing the game, losing the series, all that shit. But you go into game 6, take care of business at home on Friday night. You come out of it unscathed. It's no harm, no foul. So, we'll end on that silver lining.
Love it. Yeah. No one should despair. It's nerve-wracking. It's playoff basketball. It's an opponent everyone should respect, even without Tatum. And they just got to come out game 6, do their thing. The game tells you what to do. Watch the film, get better. When you learn.
Does the game tell you to make a sub when the sky is falling?
Apparently not. Really not.
What about after the second timeout?
No, that was amazing that it came out with the same guys after that. Oh, man.
Especially with the play being like, all right, we're going to ISO Brunson.
Left the starters in there for like 2 minutes too long. OG goes for a dunk that I swore was going to tear his hamstring in half. And thank God it didn't. So,
yeah. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Or is Benji sticking around for this segment? Or
do you want to stick around for betting and sweating, Benji? You want to bet and sweat with us? Let's do it. Shout out to the fine folks over at Fanatic Sportsbook. This is our betting and sweating picks for tonight. Thank you for everybody that tuned in to betting and sweating beforehand. You can check out how John and Jeff J did on their individual picks throughout the scoring system. I got to come up with a scoreboard for the scoring system, by the way, to see how everybody's doing.
Check any of those picks, I don't think.
I mean, people want to know how people are doing, John. Maybe someone tried to swing with a home run bet tonight. That
let me say this. The one bet that I was most confident in by far was Kristaps Porzingis under 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Did he get 2 points, rebounds, and assists total? I mean,
he got 2 total. 1 rebound, 1 point, 1 rebound.
There you go. Okay. So
well done. So our official picks for tonight, if you go to the Fanatic Sportsbook app, you would have seen this. Please download the app, create an account. You win something, win or lose. You earn something, win or lose on your bets, whether it be fan cash or, a winning. The 3 picks for tonight, Sean with the W, Knicks +5. Would have won in the first half.
There you go.
Now here's the interesting thing. Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Under 26.5 points. Mensa, when he texted the group chat this morning, said, I'll take the Jaylen Brown under no matter what it is.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Benji, here's the funny part. The under, when he said that, was 25.5.
Oh,
the
my
line
goodness.
moved to 26.5. And Fanatics granted Mensa 26.5. Jaylen Brown finishes with 26 points exactly. So this hits. Bravo, Mensa.
But Andrew Claudio's bet,
on the other hand,
not so lucky.
So Karl-Anthony Towns, who played 29 minutes tonight, went 5 of 11 from the field, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, and 1 of 3 from 3. He finishes with 19 total points in this game. What I picked was exactly 20 points. I went with 20 plus points. So I missed by 1 point. My attempt for a home run here apparently was at the warning track. Some losses are at the warning track. Some are swings and misses. But those were our betting and sweating picks for tonight. Earn up to 10% back on your bets, win or lose. Use fan cash on team gear on fanatics.com or bonus bets or profit boosts in the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Stay tuned for exclusive offers all playoffs long. Now, fellas, we have some business to attend to and giving away some fan cash to a lucky winner that participated in our sweepstakes. We'll be giving away $100 in fan cash all throughout the playoffs, at least throughout this second round, I should say. And our winner for tonight, our not betting and sweating, our fan cash sweepstakes, $100 in fan cash goes to @Tejo_1, TAEHO_1.
Woo!
Congratulations, Tejo. $100 in fan cash coming your way. We will reach out to you to get your information. Me say Teo. I'm sure that Teo has heard this before. Teo's name.
No, it's the first time it's ever heard.
Daylight comes and the Knicks wanted to go home. Apparently, we will be doing this again for Game 6. Unfortunately, Benji, you'll find out who the winner is on Saturday night when the post game is long gone.
That's the first thing I'm going to check.
Yes, check who wins the fan cash contest, not the score. Just check. In fact, you should just watch the post game.
Will it be Opa or Teo?
There you go. Opa or Teo. Oh, different cultures there. So tag Knicks Film School or Fanatic Sportsbook and hashtag sweepstakes on X or Twitter with your Game 6 Fanatics bet slip, and then join Knicks Film School's Game 6 post game show, where we will announce the winner. Okay. We're going to get started with our super chats, if it's okay with you fellas, because Fanatics, as they like to do, they like to send in the first super chat. And here is their Fanatic Sportsbook fan cash super chat for the night. Congrats to our Game 5 winner. On to Game 6 at the Garden this Friday. John let it slip during the monologue that he called Boston the Garden, which it isn't. So on to Game 6 at the Garden this Friday. Plain and simple.
It's actually a duologue.
Yes, monologue. It's not a monologue. It's a duologue, which we've found out from your friend, right?
he's very upset.
Thank you for that.
He wants you to change the heading.
So is it right now a triologue?
It could be just called a dialogue. I'm not sure there's a trilogue.
So I should just change it to a game. The thing shouldn't be a monologue. Game 5 monologue. It should be a Game 5 dialogue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna do that. And
if you want to be correct.
Apparently,
Benji, before you go, I'm gonna tell you right now. When I do this spot on the for SNY in a bit, I'm stealing your Bridges free throw stat. Still no made free throws this year against Boston.
I'll allow it. You got to quote me.
They only give me 30 seconds, but
I'm kidding. You don't have to quote me.
No, Benji, if there's one thing John struggles to do, it's credit you or call you out for a stat that you've given.
It's true. It's true. I
only do it 18 times a post.
Yes, it's only synonymous. It's like you and Zach Lowe. It's a rotation at this point. That's the trialogue right there.
There it is. I'm in constant conversation in my own head with Benjy Ritholtz and Zach Lowe.
There you go. All right.
So beautiful. Wow.
I'm out, folks. So Benji, I'll let you say your final thoughts as I make Benji disappear from the screen. We are as effective as the Knicks transition defense tonight.
Oof. Yeah, I don't got much more. No, that's it. John, get to the super chats, enjoy it, and on to Game 6 we go, as the Fanatics folks told us.